15 provides you with two functions, and they say they only have one solution when c is equal to 2. Find the value of x for that solution. So there's a couple ways we can do this. Let's start by drawing a little arrow. Wherever we see a c, we're going to substitute in 2. So I have 4, not to the c, 4 squared, and it says that these two equations are equal. So this quantity is going to be set equal to this quantity because the two are equal. So 4 squared is equal to x to the, not to the c plus 2, but c x to the 2 plus 2, which is 4.
Okay. What program are you using for that?
Hovercam. I'm going to send you the videos.
Yours look like real clear and cool. I'm going to have to try that one while you're second skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
4 squared is 16. And I could graph this, and I could get the same answer by finding the intersection points, but I just think this is a little bit easier. Now, there's a lot of confusion because we've been working with exponentials. Students see this, and they think, okay, now I have to use logs. Turn to your partner. Why is this not a problem that requires us to use logs? There's no variable in the exponent. So how do we get rid of the 4? We raise it to the reciprocal, which is 1/4. So please take 16 and raise it in parentheses to the 1/4. Take 16, raise it in parentheses to the 1/4, and the correct answer is what is it? 2. So come over here. Correct answer is 2. Bubble in, answer up top. Now, I've been told, if I remember the directions, AZMerit, you can margin it so you can do it to the left or you can do it to the right. Would anybody like me to do this problem once again? Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to start this off. It says these two equations are equal, so I'm going to do it over here. I have 4c is equal to x raised to the c plus 2. These two are equal. They're equal, and they only have one answer, and we know that c is 2. So wherever I see a c, I replace it with a 2. So 4 squared is equal to x to the 4th. 4 squared is 16. And now to solve for x, I'm going to get rid of the 4 by raising it to the reciprocal of 1/4. When you plug this into your calculator, the correct answer is 2. Okay, go down below. Have one person between the two of you please read this. Begin. Castro Car Sales has 1,800,000 in car sales this year. It expects sales to grow at an average of 3% per year. The company uses this expression to determine the sales in year T. Enter the average monthly rate of growth as a percentage round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so are you ready? I want you to circle the rate. Circle the rate you see. Abraham, what's the rate?
3%.
Awesome. Tell me when that occurs.
Per year.
Per year. Draw a little arrow to the per year. But the question says, hey, break that down, and we know it's 3% overall, 3% growth over a year, which is 12 months. We want to break that down and break it down into 12 months, okay? So on average, each month, if it grows 3% in a year, what would be the growth per month, okay? And then we want to round our answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay, so we have 3%, and we're going to take that 3% right now, and we're going to divide it by 12. So 3 divided by 12 is 0.25%. So here's my answer. Now we have to answer it in the terms they would like. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So tenth of a percent, hold on here. Do you see how there is no actual percent symbols here? Do you guys see that? So 0.1%, what would this round to? 0.3%. But there's no percentage symbols here. So how do I actually have to write it now? I heard somebody say it. Now, if there wasn't, real quick, if there wasn't this, there was just a box like we see up above, my suggestion would be to write this and your problem is done. But, do you have a question? Okay, but if you have this box and you don't see the percentage symbol as an option, Ms. Robles, what would you do? So she's trying to explain that you're going to put it back into a decimal, right? So what is this as a decimal, not a percentage? Point, what is it? 003. 300 point. And now bubble them in. Again, my suggestion would be, if you have just a box to write your answer, I would write 0.3%. But if you would have to take a problem such as this and put it into an actual box, not a box, but into an actual position where you have to circle in answers, and you don't see a percentage sign as an option, turn it back in just a straight decimal. Okay, flip over right now, let's move on, and let's look for, am I correct, we're on to problem number 20? All right. Whoever is your faster reader, please have that person read this out loud. With more than 4,800 undergraduate students actively involved in a fraternity or sorority at ASU, the Council of Greek Life was created. The Council would like to find a permanent location to hold meetings. The group, which currently represents 76 fraternities and sororities, intends to gather to plan events such as Greek Week, Greek Sings, Homecoming, and Welcome Week block party. The estimated yearly cost in dollars to rent a conference room at the Marriott is modeled by the following function, where T is the number of years since the council was created to begin holding meetings in the conference center at the Marriott. The cost of renting the conference center is divided evenly among the members of the council. The number of members is modeled by the function, where T is the number of years since the council was created and began holding meetings in the conference center at the Marriott. Create a function f of T to model the amount of money in dollars each member of the council will pay for renting a room at the conference center during the following year. Okay, to me this seems much more difficult than what we need to do. Okay, everybody ready? Let's make this basic, okay? Let's say that at Trevor Brown on a Saturday, we would like to rent a room, and we are told that the cost is $25 to rent a room for an hour. It's not during school. Somebody would, administrator or security would have to be here to open up the school. $25 per hour. And we want to evenly divide that between the number of members that will be in the room. And I'm telling you that there are 10 members in the room. Okay, how much does each member need to pay for that hour in which the room is rented? Grab a calculator, figure it out with your partner. Okay, what's your answer? 2.5, so $250. So 10 members will each pay $250. 10 members will each pay $250, which will add up to $25. How did I get that answer? I took the amount that is owed divided by the number of members. Okay, what equation represents the amount that is owed? Which equation represents the amount that's owed? C. So 550 times this quantity raised to the t. And now we want to divide that by the number of members. Which equation represents the number of members? 5t plus 30. So just in simplifying this, this is right here, this is the cost, the total cost, divided by the number of members, and that would tell you how much each person needs to pay based on the year in which we are checking. Okay, we're going to move it up to number 21. Now, with your partner in problem number 21, this is much like one of the problems we already did. So with your partner, you're going to work on this as quick as possible and then check your work with mine. Ready? Begin. Somebody reads first. So I took the two quantities, what g of x is equal to and what k of x is equal to, and I set those two amounts equal to one another. Then I replaced the r with the 2, and I needed to distribute this 2 to also the 1 and also to the 9. 1 squared is 1 and 9 squared is 81. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I have 1 over 81 equals x squared. So you could take the square root of both, which is the same as raising it to the 1/2 power. If you did the square root, because you prefer that, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 81 is 9. Same thing as applying this 1/2 to both quantities inside. Square root of 1 is 1, square root of 81 is 9. If we put it into your calculator, you may see this. But remember, it's an ongoing decimal. Hit math fraction, enter, enter, and there is your 1/9. Okay, please move down right now to number 22. Please remember to highlight or star according to your level of understanding every problem we go over. The population of a rural town is currently 6,000 people. With moving into the city, the population is, can you insert the word people here? With people moving into the city, the population is expected to increase. Okay, hold on one second. Let's check out the word rural here. Otherwise, that won't make much sense. Okay, the population of a town is currently 6,000 people, and with people moving into the city, the population is expected to increase at an average rate of 4% per year. The expected population of the town after 2 years is given by this formula. Which expression below is closest to being equivalent to this? Which expression? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use common sense, okay? Give me a number. Let's go, Gigi, give me a number. 7. Okay, let's evaluate this for 7 right now together. Remember, we do exponent first, so raised to the 7th. I inserted 7 for a t. And now I take that quantity times 6,000 out front. So when I say t is 7, my answer is approximately 7,896. Okay, with your partner, we're going to go through this together, and we are going to go one by one and see which one of the expressions is the closest to this number. Let's start with the first one. 1.4 raised to the, put in parentheses, 7 divided by 10 in parentheses and press enter. Now take it times the 6,000 out front. Is that really close to 7,896? Okay, let's go to B. 1.4 raised to the 10 times 7. Take it times the 6,000 out front. Is that really close to this amount? Let's do the next one. 1.48 raised to the 7 divided by 10 in parentheses. Take it times the initial amount of 6,000. Is that really close to our amount? Yes. And the last one is 1.48 raised to the 10 times 7 times the initial 6,000. So which one is closest to this? Is closest, it would be option C. Please find at this time. Our next problem will be number 23. You've already completed a problem like this. Please do 23 at this time. Since there's no bubbling of boxes, personally, when it says round your percent to the nearest hundredth, okay, let's look at this 5 and the number after. Do I round it up or keep it the same? I round it up. I would leave my answer like this. I took the percentage, divided it among 12. So we know that each month the average growth rate is almost half of percent. Going down to number 24. Okay, have one person read it and do this problem. $2.1. Notice this is in thousands of dollars. So it's your initial amount in thousands of dollars. Initial amount invested in thousands of dollars. So it is option B. All right, this is important for you to understand as you are young adults. So I'd like you to read right now very slowly. Take the person who's going to read slower and read number 25 to understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Begin. Compound interest. Simple interest is like, I'm going to be really kind to you. Okay, I'm going to be really kind to you. you need to borrow some money from me. By the way, I don't have money to borrow you, but you need to borrow some money from me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to charge you, but it's just going to be a one-time fee, and we'll spread it out evenly among the number of months it's going to take you to pay this back. Compound interest is like your credit cards. It's like your student loans. How many people have heard that when you pay your minimum amount, it just keeps going up and up and up? Yes? And student loans, it keeps going up and up and up unless you pay more on your principal, because each month when they take your interest, they don't take it over the original principal, what you originally take out as a loan. They take it over at this time, how much do you have? And as interest grows and the amount you owe back grows, that means you have to pay more back over time. Okay? Does that make sense? So, compound interest is most often what you're going to come in contact with. Aaron opens up 2 bank accounts, and we're just going to use, we don't work a lot with this, but we can use some common sense. Okay, so when you look down here at these 2, which part of this equation appears to look like up above? It appears to look more like compound interest. Which part here? Look at this equation, and look at this equation. Which part here appears to be more like compound interest? Would you agree that this portion looks more like compound interest? Yes? Okay, and so they're saying, what does the 640 represent? What does the 640 represent? Well, let's first cross out anything that talks about compound interest. And I would say out of these 2, our 640 is going to represent, is it the monthly interest earned in simple interest, or does it represent the initial amount deposited?